everybody, Chris here of walkingmanwalks, down by the river today. Might be a little windy. I got my new mic. I'm gonna check out the wind feature it claims to have. But what I'm going to talk about today is Filipinas and the several Filipinas I've dated since coming to the Philippines the first time in 2019, and how they differ, basically. So I've dated 4 Filipinas, and there's basically 3 different kinds: the city girl, the bar girl, and the province girl. So currently my girlfriend is a province girl, and that's probably, if you want a serious relationship, maybe what you want to end up with. Maybe a city girl. Keep in mind the city girls, they're basically my story I told about the girl who I was home during COVID and I couldn't come back here, and she ended up getting pregnant by a local guy. She was a city girl. So I'm not saying all city girls are bad, and I'm not saying necessarily even she was bad, because it was COVID. It was 2 years before I could come back to the Philippines. So who knows what would have happened not for COVID. But, you know, she was young. I don't necessarily blame her. But those are the kind of things that could happen. And I mean, I'm sure it could happen with a province girl too. I haven't fully put charisma to the test, my current girlfriend. But the bar girls are the ones you definitely want to watch out for. My first time here, I rented a motorcycle or a scooter in Cebu, and I rode it 300 kilometers down to Mobile, which is kind of a tourist town. And I was there like maybe 3 or 4 days, but after a day of being there, I said, hey, why don't I get on Tinder? That was, I think, the only dating app I had at the time or even really knew about, and look for somebody. And I got on there, and sure enough, in not too long, I met a girl. You know, I talked to a couple different girls, and she was like, hey, I'm in Mobile, you know, let's hang out tonight. And I said, sure. And she told me to meet her at this club bar. And, you know, when I got there, I mean, I think I was 49 at the time, 50 maybe. When I got there, um, she looked just like her pictures. There was no, you know, no catfishing or anything like that. She was tiny, wearing a single tight, you know, a one-piece tight dress, looked great, beautiful, and she was sitting at a table in the club waiting for me, and I proceeded to, you know, chat with her, hang out. I don't drink that much, but in the light of the occasion, you know, live for the moment. She wanted to do some drinking, so I had a few beers, and of course, she was, you know, I was paying for both of our drinks, which is normal wherever you go. Pretty normal. I mean, who knows these days? But, you know, we were having a great time, and she introduced me to one of her friends, another beautiful girl, you know, and chatted with her for a while, and I bought her a few drinks too, and that was fine. And, you know, this girl, she was sticking by my side, even though there was, you know, tons of foreigners in this bar. You know, Mobile is a, you know, it's at the beach. It's a tourist town. You know, it's pre-COVID. You know, so all night we hung out at this bar. She kept grabbing me by the hand and pulling me onto the dance floor and pulling me to the bar. And I probably drank too many beers. Um, but I got drunk that night. First time I was drunk in a while. I don't think I've been that drunk since. But so we went back to my Airbnb at the end of the night. You know, it was, I mean, at about the time the bar was closed, and I can't remember. She had a scooter. I had a scooter. She followed me back. We went back to the Airbnb, and she slept there, but we didn't have sex. I was probably too drunk to have sex with her. I don't know if she wanted to have sex. I barely remember the night. Like I said, I don't really drink, so this was a, you know, a special occasion. I got drunk probably off for 6 or 7 beers. I was, you know, out of it. I mean, you could get in trouble like that, but I felt pretty secure with this girl at the time, maybe stupidly secure. But she didn't rob me or anything. We woke up in the morning, we went to breakfast, and halfway through breakfast, she said, "Do you have 10,000 pesos?" And I said, "I have 10,000 pesos. What do you want 10,000 pesos for?" And she said, "To pay for my room that I'm staying in here." And I was like, "Oh, you're not from here." She was from Dumaguete, which was across the water, pretty quick ferry ride, if I recall, from Mobo, like a drive and then a ferry ride. And I was like, okay, but I didn't ask you to come here. You came here. You were already here when I met you, but you know, just stuff I'm not used to. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll pay for your room. And then she was like, after breakfast, she was like, I got to go home and take a shower. And I just got a bad vibe with this girl. And to be honest, after that, after she asked me for the money, I went back to my place. I was really hungover, which I'm never hungover. I don't remember being hungover since then. And it was a while before that I was hungover. But I went back to my place and I thought about it for a while. And I'm like, this girl is a bar girl. I think she's using me. So I was scheduled to leave later that day anyway, so I packed up my stuff, sent her a message, said, "Hey, it's not working out. I'm gonna head out of town. See you later." I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you sent a text message," but we only, went out the night before, and she had the nerve to ask me for 10,000 pesos the next morning. So I jumped on my scooter and I headed to Dumaguete because that was my next spot. I had seen Geo in the Philippines and Old Dog Paul before that, I think. I don't even know if Old Dog had his channel then. But I had watched those guys and some other guys who lived in Dumaguete. So Dumaguete was definitely on my list the first time I came to the Philippines to check it out. So I went to Dumaguete and she called me and called me and called me. And she's like, "Oh, I live in Dumaguete. I'm coming back. Let's meet up." And I was like, "No, no, no, no." I'm like, "You're not really my type. I'm not into party girls. I don't like to drink like that." And she was like, "That's not cool, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, it might not be cool, but I just got a bad vibe, about it." And I'm sure if I would have stayed that girl, she would have used me for every dime she could have used me for. But anyway, that was my first girl I ever met in the Philippines. Never had sex with her. We made out and stuff, but you know, she was like 27 or 28 years old. Um, but I could tell that was her thing, going to the bar, meeting expats, and getting what she could out of it. So anyway, that's the bar girl, and then the city girl I dated. You know that story already. She was sweet and everything, but during COVID, she cheated on me, and I'm pretty sure she was had another guy the whole time. But she never asked me to go to the bar. She never drank. And I did meet another city girl online before I met Charisma last year. I never actually met her for a date, but I remember I was talking to her. She worked, I talked to her for a few weeks. She worked at a call center like 8 at night till 8 in the morning. And, she really wanted to meet up, but she couldn't because of work. And she was in Cebu and I was in Lapu-Lapu at the time. And she was kind of giving me the runaround, kind of not giving me the runaround. I said, you know what? I'm just going to meet this other girl. And, you know, you don't have time to meet up. And she got mad at me too, even though we had never met in person. We chatted on video a few times. She said, "Oh, you just because I have to work, you don't want to meet with me, blah." But she gave me a few signs too. She was like, when I first asked her, "So why do you want to date me?" She's like, "Well, this, that, and the other thing, and my parents want me to have a baby soon. I'm 27 or 28 years old," she was. And I was like, "Okay, um, that's cool and all, but I'm gonna just meet this other girl." But I think those are, you know, they're definitely dateable, the city girls who work a lot. But if you date a girl, keep in mind that's working at a place like that, she's never going to be able to go out or meet up with you, and she's going to work all night long. I mean, that all those factors went into it. And then the last girl is the province girl. Sorry. That's what I recommend. The province girl is going to be a girl that, like Charisma, she lived at the farm with her family when I met her. Yeah, she did work at the farm and stuff, but her family was, they had no problem with me. They're like I said, I give them money once in a while. They don't have much money, but they're not like asking me for money all the time and stuff like that. I know already that they didn't give us permission to go out just so they could get my money. I know that. Um, and Charisma, because she grew up on a farm in the province, didn't have much. She appreciates everything. She's always worried about spending too much money, which I like. I'm a frugal guy. Um, I've been working my whole life. You guys know my story if you watch my 3 parts, which is continuing how I got here. It's my whole story about how I started working when I was 14. I've been working ever since. I grew up with a grandfather who came to the U.S. from Italy as a young man and worked for everything he ever had. And he taught me to be frugal. He was frugal, and it's just in my genes. I can't help it. I don't waste money on stupid material things. I mean, here I haven't even bought a TV because I feel like watching TV is just a waste of my time and energy, and it's really unproductive. I did recently buy an air conditioner. If you guys watched my air conditioner video, and that was a good purchase. I mean, $400 basically. I got a split unit, 1.5 horsepower in my bedroom, but if I want to open the doors, it cools down the whole house. Put a fan in the door, cools it down plenty for me. And of course, Charisma's stoked. She grew up in an open air farmhouse, a farmhouse, to be honest, to be fair, I've been there because it's in the mountains. It's not like crazy hot. It can be during the day, but it's got dirt floors, open air. I'll have to shoot a video up there soon. Anyway, so the bar girls are scammers. You can have fun with a bar girl. Stay away from a bar girl, though, and for long-term relationships. And they might try and trap you. Like this girl that I was talking about in mobile, she was doing everything she could to meet back up with me again. Because I think she thought that if she met me again, she could, lock it in. But I just was like, no. I remember I was on the ferry already to Dumaguete, and she was even going to Dumaguete. And I was like, no, I don't want to meet you again. I don't want to just spend my whole time here partying, with you, basically. Anyway, those are basically the 3 kinds of girls you're going to meet here. I'd say the city girl, the province girl are good to go. The province girl is going to be your best bet. They're not going to have a bunch of baggage as far as a bunch of other guys. Probably because they're young. Charisma's young. She's 20. They're not going to have a bunch of baggage. They're probably not going to have kids. I also avoided that. I've talked to some girls that have kids, but I've dated some American girls with kids. I know it's different with Filipinnes, but I still don't want to take on some other guy's kid. It's just not my style. I didn't like it when I did it before. And then you got the whole trouble, especially in the US. Maybe I'll do a video about that too, of the ex-husband, especially if he's a lunatic like my ex-girlfriend's ex-husband was. It's a whole other thing. He's basically in the relationship if they have a kid. So anyway, so my number 1 choice for you guys, if you're coming here, look for a province girl. They're going to be more simple. Their English is not going to be as good, probably. They might not have as good of an education, but that doesn't mean they're stupid. Me and Charisma have conversations every morning and every night, in-depth conversations. Her English wasn't great when we met. It was good enough, but it's getting much better now that she hangs out with me all the time. So that sums it up basically. Stay away from the bar girls and meet yourself a province girl when you come here. That's my advice. Okay, guys, take care.